Hi guys, welcome to another Movie Crew special. Today we'll be reviewing Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
The movies are Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, and Hayden Christensen.
So in this final chapter of the prequel series, we see Jedi Anakin Skywalker take on his true form and become Darth Vader through the dark side. So we're going to start off this review and Cameron is going to start us off today. Yep, straight off the bat, this was the first Star Wars movie I ever saw in a cinema. So this is always going to be close to my heart. I just remember being that little kid rocking up to the cinema and just really just being in awe for the whole runtime of this movie. I mean, for me, this is pinnacle Star Wars. It's got a little bit of politics in there, a lot of action, a lot more action, and just the deception and just all that culmination into one film. I think this is I always toss between episode 3 and episode 5 as being my favorites, but I always just say the one I recently watched. So in this case, it's episode 3 is my favorite of all the Star Wars. I mean, this has got, in my opinion, the best choreography in all the Star Wars movies ever. Nick Gillard, he's the one who choreographed all the prequel series, and from episode 1 and then to 2, and then he really finished it off number 3 with the Anakin and Obi-Wan fight is just embedded in my brain. Just the stylistic flips and turns and just the way they're battling it out was depicted perfectly for me. I mean, you have the struggle that you see throughout the movie of Anakin falling to the dark side. I think that was always well done. And just for me, the standout was Ian McDermott, who plays Emperor Palpatine. And just as a child, I always wanted to see how he got away with being the Emperor and just turning to the dark side just fully. I think people laugh at it. When we watch it in the cinema, people laugh at it. It's a bit corny when he finally defeats Mace Windu. But for me, I just love it when he's just embracing the full dark side and he puts that voice on. It just gives me goosebumps. So I think his performance was a standout in terms of acting for me. Just, I love that character. And yeah, Hayden Christensen for me, just the way he did it throughout the whole two movies for me as Anakin to becoming Darth Vader really played well. And I love this movie. Man?
Even though I watched this movie in my least favorite format 4DX, I still love the movie. This was so good. So I don't remember much because I watched it a long time ago and I watched it only once. My God, I was blown away. It was like watching for the first time. I loved every bit of this movie. I think I do remember Hayden Christensen used to get a lot of hate before, but apart from like the scene here and there, he was very good. The way they portrayed, the way he was acting, like returning to the dark side, killed it. Very good. Natalie Portman, amazing. Yeah. Ewan McGregor, I had a bit of a complaint, but in the first one, I like the prequel, so but he was so good in this movie. We were talking about before the movie that how hard it is to write an ending, but here we have to not only end one, but sort of pave the way. Like it's already done the first, like the sequence, but like also that we don't mess that up. Like it's like it's very hard to write end for one and beginning for the other thing, and I think we killed it. Amazing job, man. Like right ending a movie is so hard. This was fabulous. I loved every bit of it. John?
Yeah, for me, I think that it was probably of the 3 prequel films, my favorite. I did really enjoy the animations improved quite a lot. We saw it in 4DX and it really pays off for me at the start when you have that big 20-minute like fight scene, and especially when the spaceship crashes, that the scene was just like so yeah, like 4DX don't do that, but yeah, I do. So yeah, I really did enjoy the film. I think that the acting's quite good. For me, my favorite probably of the film is Obi-Wan Kenobi. So Ewan McGregor's performance, it follows through from the first film all the way to this one. It's never dropped off. I think Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen's performance, it's look, I know he gets hate for it. Yeah, it's not the best performance that probably you could have had, but I think given the circumstances and the dialogue is working with, the complex nature of the film, I think it's quite well done. I did enjoy the aspect of him turning to the dark side, and um that scene with Samuel L. Jackson where he electrocutes and then gets his hand cut off and goes flying through the window like 20 streets across. That yeah, that was pretty funny. Like
Yeah,
thinking
that's
back on
fast.
it, because it was just like such a, I don't know, just like such a like you expect to see that in like some kind of Bollywood action film or something nowadays. But overall, yeah, the film's quite good. The animation, it's much improved from the first one. It's used a lot, but at the same time, it's used in a way that it doesn't look too bad, doesn't look, poor or anything like that. The storyline's quite good. I probably would have liked to see Anakin go to the dark side on a more in steps, as opposed to it feels like kind of a snap change and then that's it from one point in the film onwards. And I know it's for the love of Padme and things like that, but yeah, I would have liked to see it be a bit more gradual throughout the film. And yeah, the probably the standout is that lava fight scene for me in terms of the action and the outcomes that you get from it, especially with the whole like cutting limbs off, jumping, things like that. It looks really good, but the aftermath of actually seeing him transform into Darth Vader, that's cool. The birth for me is a bit meh, but the actual transformation, that's the bit that I love. And I'll sometimes I watch there's a cut where it's just like all the scenes cut together, just in transforming into Darth Vader. That's probably like one of my favorite transformation scenes. So yeah.
Yeah, but just with your point in turning to the dark side, it was more so yeah, you have the two aspects. You got obviously his love for Padme, which is really what's pushing him towards the dark side,
Yeah.
but it's the manipulation of Palpatine that from a young kid he picked him and he knew that from episode one that this is going to be his gateway to getting what he wants, to being the emperor. So I think if you watch them all three of them, you can and you pinpoint, because Ian McDermott's not in number one or number two very much, but the scenes that he's in are pivotal to the understanding the manipulation is putting these thoughts into Anakin's head to make him believe that there is a way to save Padme, even though it's really him that pushed him, or Anakin that pushed himself to cause Padme to die in a sense. But just the way, yeah, Moon said it, just the way that it all come together to be the original series was just done so well. Like you can't picture it any other way. I think what George Lucas set out to do was just perfection, really, when in terms of the transition from 3 to 4. I think to understand everything was just he kept it simple, but if you really dive in, you'll get more and you'll love it more. Like you guys are probably more service area of the knowledge, but I'm a bit more deeper in the lore, so to understand it a bit more, you just get more. Like he doesn't shy away from it, but to keep that balance was really well done, I thought.
Yeah. Well, I think having a film that both you as like a big fan and somebody who goes into it, and like us, I guess, yeah, more casually fans of the series, that we all enjoy on a great level. I think it's quite good. Yeah. But yeah, I think when you, like you said, when you're writing like those films, you go in a box. Like we know Darth Vader has to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what, in my opinion, they don't do well anymore. They kind of they make a sequel and a sequel and a sequel.
They don't
Whereas
let combos, yeah.
they don't let the like film creator go, hey, like George Lucas, we're gonna do 3 films, that's it. It's gonna be this story, and we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, and this is the beats that we're gonna hit, and we're gonna do it over X amount of years, and yeah, that's what I want to do. Whereas like now it's like the MCU is probably the best example of it. They got to that point where they did the Avengers like Endgame, Infinity Wars, that kind of stuff. And then look, that was like the cap of it. And then like you can't just fault the train and the money's coming in. So they just kept going and going and going and going. It's just one of those things that I think this film is one of those last where a film creator has like control over all the aspects.
Yeah.
Like even nowadays, like the current Star Wars is just like pumping them out all the time. So it gives you even more appreciation. Like the film's got hate in their day, but then seeing what we get now,
Yeah.
you go back and have more appreciation. I remember I watched it in gold class when it came out, and I really did enjoy it. Like as a kid back then, I thought it was pretty cool, and the animation because it was like nowadays we have such good stuff that you look at it and you go, yeah, it's not the best. But like back then, that was like cutting edge. Especially like you see the droids and everything, and they were like with Ewan McGregor's character Obi-Wan Kenobi, and they just it looks like it's part of the scene. Doesn't look like it's after the fact. I was impressed. So
Yeah.
Two things. I think they're fighting lava. I guess that's why. But I would love if Anakin had a red lightsaber. I would have loved it. I know it doesn't work, but
I think it was more the case of if you have a red lightsaber in the lava, it would get lost.
yeah,
It's
that's
very
it.
hard.
Yeah.
So
And I would love when he's like actually they ban like he becomes Darth Vader, the cold caution thing. I would love they cut the movie right there instead of it just I think goes a bit for another minute or two.
Yeah, because you have to see where the children go.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. I want it like that.
Yeah, because I suppose you already know where they end up. So yeah. So I understand from the perfection point of view, it would have been epic to
they
just
could have switched it around. They could have, into their shoulder, the kids out, not shoulder down, but spread the kids out beforehand and then ended with like but that's a trope. Like, oh, what happened to Anakin? And then like they end with the whole. But I would have loved it if they just had that one scene where it's like boom, Darth Vader, and it was just like one continuous scene of them doing it.
instead of cutting it.
Instead of cutting it, they're cutting it kind of. I don't know if it took it away from me, but like every time I'm like, oh yeah, we're getting somewhere good, we're just like, boom, we're going back to the birthing, and I'm like,
By the terms of the film, it's like to see the synergy of they're both on their deathbed in the sense.
I understand the duality of it,
Yeah.
but at the same time, in my opinion, I would have just held it cleaner to be like that. Be just that one scene. It would have been more powerful for me if it was like that, as opposed to, because I mean, she's giving birth, then she dies. It's not like it would have been more the case of like, say she gives birth, and then as she gives birth, she's starting to die, and then we see like Darth Vader getting. Yeah, I'm not George Lucas. So I don't know why I'm trying to reinvent the wheel like 20 years later, but yeah, that's just my thoughts.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to give our scores.
Yeah.
Rian, how many Darth Vaders out of 10?
I give 8.5 Darth Vaders out of 10.
John?
I'll give it 9 Darth Vaders out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give it 9.5 Darth Vaders out of 10. All right, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, check out our socials, and we'll catch you on the next one. Ciao.